28.
Okay, cool. What do you think about the background?
Well, I see the fact that you've posted a cow up for some reason, which I can see the exact reason actually, when you compose and sort of inflate this whole idea that it's immoral to exploit or make cow a meat.
Even if we put the image to the side for a second and just tell me what you think about just the words alone.
Just the words alone, I think it's completely wrong to say it's immoral to exploit, which you've used words that are used to not make sense.
Muzuki, I'd like to
And you make those words sound so much worse than they are when it's purely survival and purely to eat.
Sorry, Muzuki, it's a question.
Yes, sorry. Well, the question is still immoral, and the question has been phrased in such a term that is
A question is
completely
immoral?
wrong. The question is wrong, yes.
Wait,
Questions can be wrong. You're aware of that fact. Questions can be wrong.
The question could be malformed, or you could not understand the question or something like that, but I don't know what it would mean for a question to be immoral. I have no clue what that means.
Well, okay, questions can be immoral,
In
but
what
that's
way?
not the topic of debate.
You're the one who said it. I just want to understand what you're saying now.
I can definitely tell you why. For example, number one, the question on the screen is immoral.
Yeah,
When
why?
you say, when you end it in a question mark and you frame it as a question, and you use certain words like immoral, exploit, and that's enough to make it immoral in itself.
Wait,
Why is
Because
that?
you are asking a question.
Well, you're actually just moving from an is to an ought very quickly, right? You're saying descriptively it's true that the words immoral and exploit are in the question, and therefore it's wrong. It's morally wrong, the question as a whole. And I guess we ought not. Yeah, I don't understand how you're moving from the is to an ought.
So Mizuki, if we
I
change
think
the
you're
question,
just trying to do one of those I gotcha
Mizuki,
sort of
please,
questions.
Really quick, Mizuki, would it make logical sense to you if I changed the wording to, is it immoral to exploit humans when you have other options? Would you understand that question? And would it logically make sense when I'm asking it?
I would accept that question a lot better.
Okay, why does that question make relative sense in your mind, but the other one doesn't?
Because one of those I gotcha questions, right? Which are
Okay, how is it an I
they're
gotcha
not
question?
right. They're not right.
How is it an I gotcha question?
When you put several different elements of wrongdoing in one question before you even ask the question makes it wrong.
It's a pretty straightforward
This
question.
could've-
Just like
it
how if
could've-
I were to
it
ask you,
could've-
is it immoral to exploit
Look.
human beings without necessity? If I change the wording from is it wrong to exploit human beings without necessity to is it wrong to exploit sentient beings without
No.
necessity, those are the same
No.
relative question. It's just about different entities.
No, that's wrong. I think the question has been phrased wrong. You should phrase.
Okay,
you should
change the
frame-
question. Change the question. Go ahead.
I would love to change the question. I would ask, is it right to bring up whether or not this is an option? That is the question.
It's so broad that could apply to.
Considering that's the question.
dude?
That's the question. You cannot bring
This
in
is
these
like the most
subjective
scaredy cat
terms.
approach to a conversation I've ever heard.
You cannot bring up subjective terms.
Hey, don't
and
make
claim
fun of
that
him,
it's
Keith.
right.
Oh, it's
Don't make
okay.
fun of them. Come on, man.
It's
wrong.
just so painful. Like, what are you talking about?
I'm telling you that this question above the animal should be phrased as, is it right or is it wrong to begin with having these as options? Instead of exploiting and inserting these sort of ideas such as immorality and such
What
as
are you talking about?
exploitation, such as imitation, these
hold
are
on.
the wrong terms that should be used in a question.
That's fine.
I'm just
Listen,
saying that as a fact.
Muzuki, we understand, but listen, if these terms make you uncomfortable, this is more a reflection on your opinion on the subject matter rather than us. And here's a demonstration of that, right? I see these words daily, and you know the reason I don't feel upset when I see them is because I'm trying my best to limit the bad things and connotations associated with those words. So if you see something wrong with the exploitation of sentience and you believe that to be abrasive, likely it's because you have some actions or built up ideas around why you shouldn't do these things.
That's completely false. No, that is not true. You
I feel
can't,
like I was being
you can't just
incredibly
say that and make that true.
But
Because
it is true.
when it does come to words like that, then I will definitely distance myself from those sort of bad faith ideologies that are proposed to me.
Muzuki,
I will
just to
definitely
get
do
it
that.
straight, to be efficient, and I really hate to interrupt, words make you uncomfortable, but not the
Of course
reality.
they do.
Well, not the reality that animals are being slaughtered needlessly. That doesn't make you uncomfortable. What's
No,
truly
no,
worse?
no.
What's truly
No,
worse?
no.
Like an insult. Let's say if someone said you're exploitative, they pointed your finger and said you're exploitative, right? That might make you feel bad. Now, is that really worse than an animal having its entire existence removed from it?
I'm sorry, I'm not going to sit here and listen to. I believe you're American, right?
Wait, is it okay if you just answer MK's question real quick?
Yes, I will answer it. But he's American, and he's saying it's more wrong for me to understand that unaliving an
No,
animal.
wait, he's not saying that. He's not saying that.
He's
He was asking you a direct question.
Yeah, he definitely was, and I was answering the direct question. If you would like to, refrain from interrupting, that'd be okay. So
Right.
can you do that? Are you capable of doing
course.
that?
Just-
You know what? I'm so sorry. I do profusely apologize, and I will never, ever do that again.
I gladly accept your apology.
Okay.
Now,
And
I
I
mean, of course,
I
you're allowed to talk
appreciate the
whenever you want,
apology as
right?
well.
Okay, Muziki, back on track. Listen, what's really worse? What is more bad in your mind? An animal, kind of getting its entire life stolen from it for someone to eat it, or like an abrasive word?
Well, I think that's always been what's been happening, regardless of whether humans have interjected their own ideology over it. It's been happening regardless. We are aware of this,
That
right?
does not answer my question whatsoever. So I'm just going to roll.
I'm just saying it.
I'm going to roll with
That's
the
been
logical
happening.
conclusion. I'm going to roll with the logical conclusion. You likely think it's worse for an animal to get robbed of its life. So if you understand that these things are bad inherently, why do you contribute to them?
Well, as an American, why do you contribute to the fact that you do it to humans? Why does that make it any better? And now you want to defend humans. Now you want to defend animals like you don't defend humans.
You need to relax. You need to relax. You're getting upset. So this shows that inherently.
I'm not getting upset.
I gotta hear it. So just give me a moment. If you are trying to make some parallel, because I pay taxes or whatever.
Now you want to mute me. That's cool. That's
are
cool.
Are you going to let me finish?
I see the level.
So believe it or not, this is not your live stream. Keep interrupting me, I'll remove you. Right? I've been plenty patient with you. Either way, if you're trying to say something like I am wrong for paying taxes because it might fund wars, well, here's the reality. Veganism is about avoiding exploitation.
I'm going to make it simple right now.
Okay, so you're interrupting me again. When you practically and possibly can. This means, right, I cannot avoid paying taxes. I will literally lose my freedom. Thereby, it's required for me to pay my taxes, not morally wrong.
Can I make this simple?
Sure.
Yes. Okay. So one thing that I have conversational hygiene where I don't actually debate with dictators. So when I get muted.
Okay, yeah, then get off the panel.
Yeah. You're being the dictator up here, saying this word is, or this question is not a correct question.
We should have kept him, guys. Come on.
I didn't even drop him. Someone did that at lightning speed.
Yeah.
That was me. I was just waiting for him to say like another ridiculous, completely offshot thing that just like didn't track whatsoever. Like he's just not paying attention. He was not even listening to MK. He was just waiting for MK to be done talking. You could hear him like, while MK is like going over his statement, he asked him to not interrupt him for like the third time.
Interrupting.
And, yeah, he just chose to just like jump in with, again, the most absurd thing. I'm not going to listen to dictators. He could not quantify in any respect as to how we are dictators. Like dictators would mean that like, oh, we won't listen to you whatsoever, or B, we're going to like domineer you and force you to do certain things. Like, no one's here doing that. But we're also going to not just continually listen to you spout the most ridiculous shit back to back to back to back. Like there's a certain limit, and you fucking reached it real quick.
Just to be funny and add to it, you smell great, Keith, because I was there for that conversation.
Thanks.
Yeah, well said, Keith. Yeah, that was perfect. It was funny. He said dictator, and as soon as I left his mouth, he was instantly gone.
You even gave him a leeway, MK.
Oh no, who did that?
Will I be muted again by a dictator?
No, and hey, I will take the initiative to profusely apologize for all the people that interrupted you, Muziki.
And
Okay.
I would like to apologize for the people I interrupted as well, but I did have something to say.
Okay.
And I didn't get the chance to actually respond to anything. Instead, a dictator stopped me from talking.
It's
Which is
okay.
wrong.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. There was a dictator that stopped you, and they're not going to dictate, like that again. They're not going to do it. So go ahead and go get out with your point.
My point was, look, I don't want to talk about the actual question itself. I'd rather talk about the actual point now.
Okay.
Because before I was definitely demonstrating why the question itself is false and should not be asked as a question. And I propose a way the question should have been spoken.
Yeah, I don't. I'm
not
kind of
done.
confused what you mean by the question is false. I don't even understand what that means. Like, if I was confused about something and then I just had like a curiosity to find out, like, or to clarify my confusion, and then someone told me, "Oh, your question is false," and I was like, "Well, I'm just trying to understand like what you mean," and they were like, "No, that question is false." I would be even more confused. You kind of see what I'm saying?
Yeah. When you use subjective terms such as immoral or exploitive, about the topic, then that's not okay. Rather state the actual question itself and let people answer that, rather than
What's not okay about using the terms immoral and exploitive?
because they're subjective. And when we ask questions, they're supposed to be objective.
It could be subjective with respect to your view, right? Like we could be asking you, is it immoral or exploitative in your view?
But
And that
you're
would be a
not
fair
doing that
question.
though. It's not being done. That's the issue.
That's actually what host is trying to do. We're trying to ask you, is it immoral to exploit sentient beings when we have other options in your view?
Yeah, but when you double up with those subjective terms such as is it immoral to exploit that's too much. That's too much.
Well, what do you mean by
And it's wrong.
How much do we need to cobble you?
Yeah.
You don't need to cover
Can I get you, like,
you
a
don't need
bib?
to cover me.
Do
You don't even know my
You need like
you
a
don't even
snack?
know
You
my
need like a
view.
juice box? Like you can't answer basic questions?
I'll give him a juice box, Keith. I'll get the juice box ready, all right?
Get me a juice box as long as it's apple juice.
But Muziki, I'm sorry, but this just seems to be intentional moral evasion. You don't have the ability to interact with words like exploitive or immoral, and it like makes you uncomfortable. But you have no sort of issue with eating the corpse and dead flesh of an animal. That seems like hypocrisy to me.
That's completely untrue. No, that's completely untrue. Because I do have the willingness and I do have the ability to talk about phrases such as these, which I have done the entire time.
Oh, wait, are you already
However,
vegan?
I'm not vegan. No.
Okay, so then you are more comfortable with eating the dead flesh of animals and interacting with these words. So if you are now communicating
Yes.
and have the
Are
capability
you
to
not
do so,
comfortable eating dead flesh as other people?
If-
Why
if you-
don't you go ahead and tell the lions to stop eating dead flesh as
lions
well?
aren't rational agents. You can't use that as an excuse.
Oh, what is that the reason that
So,
they can't do it?
Muziki, can you demonstrate me one time in any point in history where a lion has had a conversation like me and you are now?
No.
Okay,
I
exactly.
can't,
That's the
because
point.
we are not lions. We have not communicated with lions. But I can tell you for a fact that lions have communicated with other lions probably as well as we have. We just have
So,
no
yes.
proof of it. Same way lions do not have proof
Lions
of us
have, they do
communicating.
communicate in a way, but you just said it yourself. They do not have the same capability of communication, which means
That's
just
no,
because a
you're
lion
not
has-
saying. No,
Mizuki,
no.
Mizuki, hold on.
I did not
Wait,
say
don't
that.
tell me no, like you're going to overtalk a moderator. That's why. So ultimately, you would have to agree that human beings should not act like lions or tigers. Otherwise, would it be okay for us to like eat our own children or eat our own kind? I'm going to invite you to unmute. I don't do it to be rude. I do it to be efficient.
I mean,
That wasn't me. He muted himself.
No, someone unmuted me as well.
Okay, so yeah, do you agree that human beings shouldn't act like lions?
Of course, yeah.
Well, great. Then what's the hang up?
Well, the hang up is we're not lions, are we?
Yeah, but you also don't think like lions engage in ethical deliberation, right?
I do think they do in their own lion way. Yeah, they would.
Well, I haven't heard that before.
Why wouldn't they? Seriously, why wouldn't they?
Because they aren't rational.
No, why are they not rational? They have
Because they don't
survived.
have, they don't
They've
have any,
survived for so
they don't
long.
have any of the associated like behaviors or characteristics of rationality, which
Why
would be
is
like
our-
communication. Go.
Why is our rationality as humans so much more superior than the rationality of lions?
We're actually not even saying that it's superior in any way, right? We're just saying
you
that
are.
we
You're saying
absolutely
our rationality is better.
no, we're not saying that. We're
It's
saying that
not.
yeah, we're in agreement there. We're not saying that. So what we're actually saying is that we, as humans, as Homo sapiens, we actually can engage. We can confer like. It's clear. We can see it. We can observe it. We can talk about it. We can actually engage in rational, ethical deliberation, right? So if we can do so, then we probably should do so if we can avoid exploiting other sentient beings. And that's basically what we're trying to get at. I can try to make like another argument that might seem more intuitive to you that would also be analogous to the background if you're open to that.
I'm very open to it. Yeah.
Yeah. So would you say that like are you in favor or are you against something like dogfighting?
Of course, I'm against it
And why is that?
because it's unnatural.
Sorry. So
If it-
is it only
if it's-
because
No, if it's by humans, then it's unnatural. If it's naturally they're fighting each other, then I'm not against that. No.
well, so my question is like humans intervening and basically putting their hand in the matter and saying, "Hey, I want these dogs to fight each other for the humans' entertainment."
That's wrong, yeah. Because
Why is
that's not the natural human fighting reason for human fighting. No. I mean,
I'm trying to understand that a little bit better.
Sorry. So, if humans are going out of their way to make two other animals fight, that is always going to be wrong.
And why is that?
Because humans are interjecting the natural. I see what you do.
Well, I'm just trying to understand you a little bit better here so that we can be on the same page, because something's like going over my head, it seems like. Like, I don't see why, whether or not it's natural, has any pertinence to the fact that we should or shouldn't do it.
Well, for a long time, humans have been eating meat. For the longest time. And I don't see a reason for that to stop just because of some ideology that claims it's naturally wrong.
Well, it's not about whether or not it's naturally wrong or if it happens in nature or something like that. We'd be saying that if there's an alternative where we don't have to exploit those sentient beings, then that alternative would make exploiting those sentient beings unnecessary. That action would be wrong. And similarly, if
I would
if
agree
somebody
if we had one.
yeah, I mean, well, I can just like kind of inform you like really quickly that humans can survive and thrive off plant-based diets.
I would argue yes, we can survive. However, we cannot thrive without it.
Well, there's actually plenty of evidence. There's a large
and-
body of scientific evidence to suggest we absolutely can thrive on plant-based diets.
I don't believe that to be true. Can you tell me which ones?
Yeah, absolutely. So, like, you can check out the Oxford Cohort Study or the American Dietetics and Nutrition, the American Nutrition and Dietetics Association. Both of those will say explicitly that humans can absolutely survive and thrive off of well-planned plant-based diets.
Okay. Well, I also have something else to say to that as well. Is that humans cannot just thrive from being able to survive, right?
What?
I don't know what you mean by that, really.
Thrive is different to surviving.
Well, yes. That's why we're mentioning both of them. That's why the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics actually mentions both of those words, because they're not the same.
Yeah, and if we're able to survive off just meat, I would happily accept that, but I will not accept the fact that we're able to thrive as much as we are or be able to get to what we are without meat.
You won't change.
It's wrong.
Go ahead,
No,
Brad.
I was just
I
saying,
won't-
it won't change your worldview or be open up to new information.
Well, I think he is open to new information, right? Like you're saying, correct me if I'm wrong, Muzuki, that if we did have the option to survive and thrive off of plant-based diets, then choosing those alternatives would be more ethical than choosing to exploit sentient beings by the billions every year, right?
Yes, of course.
Yeah. So I think we're actually, like, in principle, very much in agreement here.
I just haven't seen a way yet. I've seen a way to survive, but I haven't seen the way for us as human beings to thrive to the extent that we have done with our meat so far. And
Yeah,
it's
I
quite
guess I would
difficult.
ask. Oh, sorry, didn't mean to interrupt.
No, it's all right. I'm finished. It's okay. I want to hear what you have to say more.
I guess I would ask, what is your concern that we couldn't thrive as much on a plant-based diet? Because, as I've already referenced, there is a large body of scientific evidence to suggest that we absolutely can. We can even give you resources like veganeasy.org that will literally help you for free make that transition and thrive like you might be concerned about. So I'm trying to understand your concerns a little bit better so that we can paint the image a little bit better for you.
Okay. Well, my concerns is a lot of people would disagree and not like to do that, right? And a lot of those people are the reason our society has grown as much as it is. So how can we claim that we are supposed to thrive without the certain people who have been eating meat for several years and will refuse to eat meat for several more years? How can we claim that as thriving as human beings when we get rid of them?
Oh, well, we wouldn't be getting rid of those humans. Those humans would still exist, and they would just switch to a plant-based diet. Or even if they don't switch to a plant-based diet, they would still just exist in society, and they would be doing the same things they're currently doing, right? So,
Well, then if they don't switch to a plant-based diet, then what's the case of the whole argument?
well,
What's the whole case of the point?
the
We're going to a
point-
plant-based diet.
yeah.
If
So the point
our
is,
meats are
we're
not
talking to
doing that.
people. Sorry, we're talking to people individually, and right now we're talking to you, and we're saying, hey, like, even though a whole bunch of people, like for example, might be exploiting dogs in dogfighting rings, you would still say, hey, that's not actually a good reason for me to participate in it. And if we told you, hey, like, you have good reasons to not unnecessarily exploit dogs, even though a whole bunch of people are participating in it, you would probably be sympathetic to that.
Dog fighting rings are completely different to eating meat, by the way. I just want to make that clear.
Yeah.
You cannot compare dog fighting rings, because dog fighting rings are underground. They're actually completely illegal in every country I know. And every country I've been in, they're completely illegal. So it cannot be compared to eating meat, which is completely legal.
Well, regardless of the legality, I think we can both agree that it's just an unnecessary form of exploitation of sentient beings, right?
It was necessary at one point, yes.
Dogfighting was necessary at one point?
No, eating meat.
Right, okay. Yeah, but I'm saying like it's analogous when we think about how both of these actions are currently both unnecessary, right?
In 2025, yes, I would argue they're not as necessary as they were before. Not dogfighting. Not dogfighting. Please don't argue me on dogfighting. It's wrong. Everyone agrees it's wrong. And the people who agree it's right are normally people in prison.
Yeah, I mean, regardless of the legality surrounding it, I think in principle we can both agree that the ethics surrounding it, if it's completely unnecessary, we just shouldn't participate in it. And we can use that same reasoning and say, well, it's completely unnecessary for us to use animals for taste pleasure, something as trivial as taste pleasure. And that's actually very comparable to something as trivial as entertainment pleasure in the case of dogfighting. So that's why it's kind of a relevant analogy. Does that make sense?
Yes, that does make sense.
Okay, cool. Yeah. And that's really like the heart of the point I'm trying to make here right now. It's just that it really is a very trivial reason for why we are exploiting billions and billions of animals for a completely unnecessary purpose. It's just taste pleasure. We have alternatives. We can absolutely survive and thrive on plant-based diets. And we really should be striving and moving towards, building societies that are more involved in, just plant-based agriculture, plant-based diets, stuff like that. It just seems like it's a lot more intuitive to me. And it seems like it's a lot more intuitive to most people just based on their other evaluations of, the other ways that sentient beings are exploited. Something like dogfighting, something like, I don't know if you heard about this story, but there was like a content creator who was catapulting possums like 500 feet away, like into a field and just like watching them limp away. Like that would also be like a form of entertainment that people would, I think majority of people would be like very much against something like that. It's just some sort of pleasure that doesn't actually justify the exploitation that's happening against the sentient being, right?
Yeah. No, 100% you're right. You're actually so right. I can't argue against that. That's completely correct. Especially, but I also don't want it to be like eating meat to be compared to what dogfighting or launching possums like across your lawn.
It's a moral distinction.
Yes, but the moral distinctions are completely uncomparable in any way.
Well,
eating
the comparison
meat and launching possums against your lawn.
The comparison is just that
the possums are wrong.
The comparison is just that the justification that's used in both cases is pleasure. It's a form of pleasure, whether that be entertainment pleasure or taste pleasure. It doesn't actually justify doing the action unnecessarily to the sentient being when we have other options. Does that make sense?
Yes, and I'd like to bring up another point to that, specifically for the animal you brought up on the picture, the cows, right, who cause the biggest form of, I guess, methane gas and the worst thing to our ozone layer thus far. Is it okay to just suddenly let them continue multiplying?
Well, we're actually breeding them, en masse right now.
Yes, I do understand that we're breeding them, yes. And we will stop breeding them once we stop eating them. However, they will grow naturally without us there. Would you like to permanently get rid of all of them?
Well, the same argument can be levied against, the other forms that of harm that are being caused to the environment. Like if you're saying that harm caused to the environment is so important that maybe we should just cut it out altogether, then you would be against like driving cars, fossil fuel use in any capacity, right? But I think you see there.
I'm against fossil fuels, and I'm against cars running on petrol.
Yeah. Okay. Then yeah, I could totally understand that would be consistent. But yeah. So to your point, going back to the cows, if we don't have to breed them into existence, then we're both on the same page. We shouldn't be breeding them into existence. It's bad for them. It's bad for the ozone layer. And yeah, to some extent, what you're saying is, I mean, the domesticated cow obviously won't survive out in nature currently, right? Like they won't be able to survive as their ancestral counterpart would have in the past because they just don't have the means of actually surviving on their own right now. So
that's actually untrue. That's actually untrue. I've been in Uganda several times. There are a lot of cows that are able to create their own families.
Well, yeah, no, I'm saying, yeah, they could still breed on their own.
And that's a big-ass continent, too. So that's
Yeah.
a big influence on the world as well.
Sure. They could still breed on their own, and we could do things to mitigate that sort of a thing as well.
And
Where
how would that be?
yeah, we just like divide the sexes. We just don't let them breed, basically, right?
So instead of killing them, we let them die off.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with letting them go extinct. They're already like genetically modified to a point where it's literally suffering for them just to exist because of their genetic modifications.
Would you call that a waste of food, I guess? When it could be fed by people who are starving across the world?
Well, for those people who are starving across the world, I would say we could also just, feed them the abundance of plants that we grow currently and
But
that we're raising.
do you think that will happen, though? Because it won't.
Yeah, but someone could say the same thing about these cows. It's just not going to happen. But either way,
Well,
I think we're in
it
agreement
does
that we
happen.
should. I think we're in agreement that we absolutely should
We
feed
are.
those starving people, if we can. And I think we're also in agreement if we could feed them in an ethical manner, where the way we're deriving the food is ethically sourced, then we should opt for that option as well.
Oh, shit. So you know what? If we could, limit their population, let them pass away, and then feed on them after they're dead.
Sorry, what was the question?
No, there was no question there. It was just a proposal. If you're arguing that we could, limit their population and let them die off, right? Would you be okay with us eating them after they have passed away?
Well, if it's completely
Of
unnecessary,
natural-
I would
of
still
natural-
probably.
of natural birth, of natural reasons for their death. Would you be okay with us eating them after they have already died?
Yeah, it's kind of an interesting question, and I struggle to get on board with that for similar reasons for why, like, after a human has passed away, I would struggle to be on board with, if they had unalived from natural causes, I wouldn't be so keen or eager to go, well, they unalived from natural causes, I think I'm just going to eat
We're not talking
them.
about cannibalism, okay?
Well, do you see
This
the
is about
parallel?
No, I don't see the parallel because humans don't, unless, I don't know if you've heard about people in Antarctica, they do that shit. But, if a natural birth child who dies and they have just been spread out, dead, and we only have, 2 days to harvest this animal, why would I not let people without food not have those animals?
Someone
What,
could say the
it's
same thing about
immoral?
humans who died of natural causes. What would be the argument against
That's
it?
because that's cannibalism.
Yeah, well, that's just descriptively true.
The
I'm trying to
same, the
understand.
same way
what would be wrong
cows,
with it.
the same way lions, the same way a lot of these animals don't do that. They mourn the animal the same way we would mourn a human. We're not going to just pull out our forks and knives and start eating a whole ass human
Well, why aren't you mourning the cows that are unaliving from natural
because
causes?
they're not a cow. Because they're a cow.
Hold on. It
They're a
doesn't.
cow.
I don't think that's super relevant, right? Because like
They're not a human.
some people still care about other species that are very close to them, right?
Yeah, because they were part of your family. Yes. Same way I would mourn
But
my
it has
dog.
nothing to do with
Well, I'd
them
mourn my
being
dog.
strictly a part of their species, right?
Yeah. Well, are you saying I'm going to go eat my neighbor's dog?
No,
'Cause I wouldn't.
I'm not
Right?
saying that.
But I'm saying, same way in Australia, I do not eat dogs, right? I'm not going to be out here eating a dog regardless. But I will eat a cow that has been passed away of
Yeah.
natural causes.
Well, why wouldn't you
Yeah,
eat the
what is
dog
wrong
who
about
passed away
that?
of natural causes?
Because I don't eat dogs. I had a dog before.
But you're creating a moral distinction. You're separating what you think is more
Yes.
valuable.
Yes. I'm creating a moral distinction.
Well, I'm trying to understand what the moral
And in
distinction
different-
actually is.
In
I'm trying to
different
understand.
countries, there are different moral distinctions. In
Yeah, but, like,
Australia
what
and
is
a lot
it?
of countries, we've had dogs that have been companions to us who have helped us out so much in our lives. Therefore, I will never eat another dog. That's the moral distinction.
Yeah, but somebody could say that same thing of cows, like what they do in India. I'm pretty sure, like they treat cows as like holy individuals, right?
Yes, and they don't eat them. They don't eat them even when
Right.
they don't eat them at all.
So then it's analogous. They could say the same thing. They could say, well, oh, those individuals are companions. Those individuals are spiritual. They're they're very holy, and you shouldn't be eating them. They would be using your exact same reasoning right now.
Yeah, and I wouldn't hold that against them. Same way they shouldn't hold it against me.
Yeah. Well, I think more importantly, if we don't need to consume them at all, like we just have other non-exploitative options, I think it'd be more ethical to choose the non-exploitative options. Does that
So
make
if,
sense?
yeah, so if you do at that point need to actually consume it,
Yeah. If it's
That'd be
if it's
okay.
necessary, then yeah, that's a whole
Okay.
different argument. But we're
Okay,
talking about when it's
okay.
completely unnecessary.
yeah, and I agree with you when it's unnecessary. There is no reason for me to eat a dog. Or now that you've explained it, really a cow, or what? I don't eat pork, so no swine is involved.
Okay.
I get what you mean.
Okay.
There's no necessary reason for me to eat it.
Yeah.
But we're
yeah.
also in first world countries, I believe. So we cannot claim that on first world countries. They don't get a pick of what they get to eat on any day. You know,
Yeah,
they just have to eat what they have to survive. And because our countries don't help them, then we can't just be putting on these random laws and make them worldwide and saying, hey, from today on, we cannot eat this and this and this. There's a lot of farms that have those animals, and they're going to lose all their profit, all their meals as well, and we're just going to force them into G-side.
Yeah, of course. Like instead, we should be offering them help. We should just be giving them aid, you know, like helping them in whatever ways we can, instead of, you know, forcing them into tougher positions than they're already in. But I think you get the point. I think the point is.
I do get the point. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Yeah.
You really described that very well.
Thank you.
Thank you for this chat. I might actually have to reevaluate my entire life now. So that's going to be interesting.
Yeah, I mean, hey, like we're here to talk. We love having these discussions. You should check out Dominion or just like any vegan documentary just to get a little bit more educated about what's actually happening on these factory farms. And then if you're...
Oh, they're bad, aren't they?
Yeah.
They're bad. I know that. Yeah.
Yeah. And then another resource I would recommend is veganeasy.org, which is just it's a free website it's a team of nutritionists and dietitians that will actually help you make the switch to being on a plant-based diet. You know, meal prepping, cooking plant-based food, picking out labels quickly that you can like certainly figure out you know, much more easily that they're going to be plant-based, vegan, stuff like that. So yeah, I would check out veganeasy.org.
Okay. Wait, sorry, what? vegan.org?
Yeah, I'll type it in the comments for you.
There's nothing after that? It's just .org?
Yeah, veganeasy.org.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah.
I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you're welcome to come back anytime, or you know, shoot any of us a DM if you have any questions. But yeah,
Look, as long as I don't get hit by dictators, that's okay.
yeah, we'll try to be more lenient on you next time.
Okay. Take care, guys. Thank you so much.
Take
for
care.
having me.